The News at Noon starts right now.
A deadly shooting at a once popular nightclub back in 2023 is now the center of a murder trial that began this morning.
Noah Patterson is on trial for fatally shooting 20-year-old Devon Jordan King after two groups of people got into a fight outside the private club on UTSA Boulevard.
Our Erica Hernandez is covering this case. Erica, what did the state and defense have to say during opening arguments?
Yeah, Courtney, well, the state says that a lot of their case is going to rely on surveillance footage that they say shows that Noah Patterson can be seen shooting Devon Jordan King in those surveillance footages. The defense says, though, that the scene was chaotic and those shots could have come from anywhere. Now, back on May 18, 2023, after two groups of people were kicked out of the now closed Privat nightclub, the fighting continued outside and ended in more than a dozen shots being fired. King was fatally hit twice and up to 3 others were injured. Patterson and another man, Seth Rocket, were later arrested and charged with murder in this case. The state says there are several videos they will show of the shooting and of Rocket and Patterson leaving the club and then coming back with guns. A first piece of evidence they presented was a 911 call, and in it, while the caller is asking for police because of the fight, you can hear the shooting occur.
They got guns drawn, and there's a fight about to break out. There's shot fire, shot fire, shot fire, shot fire. Is anybody shot? I don't know. Are you security here? Yeah.
Now, the defense in opening says in total 16 shots were fired and that a bullet that hit King cannot be traced to any specific gun. As for the co-defendant in this case, Seth Rocket, he still does not have a trial date scheduled. As for Patterson, if he is convicted, he faces up to life in prison. Live outside the Community Reeves Justice Center, Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thanks so much, Erica. Well, what else could Bexar County build besides a new Spurs arena? That's the question Cops Metro wants voters to ask. About a dozen members of the activist group rallied on City Hall steps today to urge voters to shoot down Prop B on the November ballot, which would commit Bexar County tax dollars towards a new downtown Spurs arena. Now, Garrett Berger has been following the story since the beginning and joins us live now. Garrett, what are they proposing instead?
Well, Courtney, Cops Metro has been the leading voice in opposition to using public money for a private Spurs arena. As they put it, public money that you will have some decision over, because on November 4th, voters throughout entire Bexar County will be asked whether to commit up to $311 million using the county's venue tax, which is on both hotel stays and car rentals. Now, that tax helped fund the Spurs' current home, the now Frost Bank Center. And though a venue tax has limitations on how it can be used, Cops Metro says a pro arena still is not the only choice. They point to 2008, when voters put it toward a host of other projects, like the Museum Reach and Mission Reach, the Northside Swim Center, sports fields, and even the Tobin Performing Arts Center. Now, if Prop B is voted down, Cops Metro argues the county could once again take a similar approach to deciding how to spend that tax money instead.
Forming a citizens committee on the county level from citizens across the county to vet the projects that are submitted is what we want to see happen. We would imagine there would be dozens of projects that fit within the guidelines of a venue tax funding stream.
That 2008 vote also included money for renovating the Spurs' current home. When we asked whether that Cops Metro leader what they'd think if a citizens committee decided to help fund a new Spurs arena anyway, he said they'd have to look at it at the time. Now, voters will be asked not only to use the tax, but to raise the hotel portion of it. And not just for a downtown Spurs arena. There's also another project that the county wants done. They want to renovate a lot of the area around the current home on the east side in the Freeman Coliseum grounds so that there could be more year-round rodeo-style events. That'll be on your ballot too, but it's Proposition A. Live outside City Hall, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
All right, Garrett, thank you for that live report. It's 87 degrees now, and you can see Garrett was outside and in the shade, so probably a good thing right now, Shelby.
Oh, definitely a good thing. I mean, we're still, as you even take a look outside, seeing those beautiful blue skies, but our temperature is already starting to warm up, similar to what we've seen the last few days. It's more of that copy-paste weather, but even right now, we're sitting at about 87 degrees, and throughout the next few hours, we are anticipating our peak temperature getting into those low 90s, and even about 93 is expected to be our warmest temperature of the day. But notice that it's still going to be dry throughout the rest of the day. We're still seeing those mostly clear skies persist for San Antonio, which could cause some issues. We're already seeing some light to moderate issues with our air quality for San Antonio, going into areas just near Pleasanton, near Floresville, and even over towards Houston, and most of us in South Central Texas, and even just surrounding Bexar County. We do have some air quality alerts today. Now that is because we have an ozone action day for San Antonio, going into the Hill Country near Bandera, for Kendall County, going all the way up to Austin. Now what that means is an ozone action day just basically means there's going to be elevated ozone levels in the air today. Now it could have some issues. If you do have some respiratory illnesses, you might want to be taking some extra precaution, stay inside. But not only do we have that, the reason we're seeing the ozone action day is because we're still seeing that area of high pressure that's also giving us the conditions to be feeling very nice. But it's going to be bad for the drought. We're still having 2 hurricanes in the Atlantic. But like I mentioned, that drought, it's Thursday, the latest drought monitors, and I'll break down what it says and what it means for San Antonio coming up in just a bit.
Thank you, Shelby. Well, new details this noon in a West Side stabbing investigation. San Antonio police now say they think a man who they found with multiple stab wounds likely got hurt somewhere else. This all started yesterday evening around 6, and police were called to Elvira Street, not far from Castroville Road. Now, officers did find a man inside the home with multiple stab wounds. He told police he got into a fight with 3 people, and then at least one of them stabbed him. Right now, it is not clear what sparked that fight. Officers tell us that the suspect took off in the victim's car. Police also say the victim's injuries are not life-threatening.
The family of a 17-year-old girl who was shot and killed needs your help. 17-year-old Aliana Uhueta was shot and killed in southwest Bexar County. The sheriff's office says she was one of the teenagers partying at the lot outside an abandoned home on Lucky Road. BCSO says the person who did this got away in a dark-colored pickup, but detectives think someone in the crowd captured what happened. That's why Aliana's family is asking anyone with video to come forward.
Have some courage, you know, do the right thing. We don't want this to happen again.
We're missing the piece that made this whole. We're missing it. We're missing it.
If you know or anyone who has photos, video of information on what happened, you can submit them anonymously to BCSO. The link to do so is on our website.
Well, the heart of downtown San Antonio getting a possible upgrade. A plan has been proposed to help bring more business and attractions to attract more people to the Riverwalk. Our Sarah Costa lets us know what this could mean for the Riverwalk's future.
Figuring out ways to improve parking, making it more comfortable at the Riverwalk during the summer heat, attracting more businesses, not just to get more tourists, but locals visiting the Riverwalk on a regular basis. These are all things being considered in the Riverwalk Strategic Master Plan that was presented before City Council B session yesterday. The director of the Office of Historic Preservation, Shannon Miller, presented this proposal before council members yesterday. She says they have created a board that will lead these efforts called the Riverwalk Capital Improvement Board. That includes groups like Centro, Visit San Antonio, and Riverwalk business owners, and even some people who live along the Riverwalk. They do have some funding in place, but more funds might be needed. And it was discussed how the city would move forward to get those funds. Miller says a lot of public input will be used to fuel this strategic plan.
We know that we need and we want to hear from tourists, but we also want to hear from locals. And in particular, we want to hear from the locals who don't come to the river as much as we would like them to hear about why or concerns we might be able to address to drive more traffic to the Riverwalk.
This all stems from businesses asking for help, saying they are seeing less people visit the Riverwalk, especially during the summer, which is why building more shade or even misters to help cool people down along the river has been brought up in the proposal. Coming up at 6 p.m. tonight, we'll be talking to Shannon Miller about what this plan could look like, and also hearing from local business owners along the Riverwalk about what improvements they would like to see get done. Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Well, a little more than 6 weeks after the Together for Texas benefit concert for Hill Country flood relief, organizers gathered again this morning at the Tobin Center to reveal the check and present it to the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country. KSAT 12 aired the 3-hour benefit live on August 18th, which raised more than $487,000 for relief from those July 4th floods. The show was put together at the Tobin in a matter of days with help from comedian Steve Trevino, Gabriel Iglesias, and an all-star lineup of entertainers.
It was really a coming together of the community, artists, sponsors, neighbors helping neighbors. And, as a nonprofit ourselves, we know the struggles that, a nonprofit can have in times of emergencies. And so we stepped right in and we wanted to make sure that we had a unique position. We were in a unique spot to be able to do this.
The event that night had so much heart and comedy and artistry, and it was crystal clear that the mission was community and recovery. And it's San Antonio doing what San Antonio does best and being home.
According to Dixon, in just under 3 months, more than $100 million has been raised for the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country. Of that, $20 million has been dispersed to help with emergency cash assistance, rebuilding homes and businesses, first responders, mental health resources, and other needs in the community. And there is a $40 million pledge on the table just for housing right now.
President Trump says he is looking at cutting federal agencies and firing federal workers during this government shutdown. I'm ABC's Karen Travers at the White House. I'll have the latest coming up.
Well, it is day 2 of the government shutdown as the blame game intensifies.
And today, because of a Jewish holiday, neither the House or Senate is in session. ABC's Karen Travers reports that means the earliest this shutdown could end is tomorrow.
With no signs of the government shutdown ending anytime soon, this morning, Republicans placing blame squarely on Democrats.
Well, welcome everybody to day 2 of the Democrat shutdown.
President Trump meeting today with his budget director to determine which agencies he recommends be cut, either temporarily or permanently. The president also blaming Democrats on the conservative One America News Network.
Well, there could be firings, and that's their fault.
The Trump administration warns it could start that unprecedented step of firing federal workers as soon as today. ABC's Mary Bruce pressing the vice president yesterday.
Why does the president want to fire some workers and not just furlough them? Why is this shutdown any different?
Well, first of all, we haven't made any final decisions about what we're going to do with certain workers. What we're saying is that we might have to take extraordinary steps, especially the longer this goes on.
Democrats demanding Republicans reverse massive cuts to Medicaid and extend expiring Obamacare subsidies so health care premiums don't rise for millions of Americans next year.
Republicans say they'd rather shut down the government than make sure that Americans get their access to health care. I think they're wrong.
The White House is insisting the government needs to reopen before discussing health care policy. President Trump now turning up the pressure, targeting projects in Democratic-leaning states, freezing $18 billion in infrastructure funding for New York City, home of both Democratic leaders, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, and blocking $8 billion for energy projects in 16 Democratic-led states. The president said today he's meeting with the budget chief, Russ Vought, to talk about which Democrat agencies he recommends be cut. What agencies are on the table for that conversation?
We're going to look at agencies that don't align with the administration's values, that we feel are a waste of the taxpayer dollar.
There are more than 750,000 federal workers furloughed around the country. TSA agents, air traffic controllers, and members of the military all working without pay. The Senate will not be back in session until tomorrow to even consider a vote to end the shutdown. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Back here at home, let's take a look outside with live cam. Clear skies, kind of a copy and paste of what we've been seeing. It's going to be warm.
It's going to be a warm day, still sitting above average today for us in San Antonio. And because it's going to be another warm day, we're not seeing any rain chances today in San Antonio. But some good news, the aquifer is actually up 1/10 of a foot today. We're still 30 feet, though, below our monthly average. And just like the last few days, we are still seeing ragweed sitting at moderate levels today. And that's not the only thing in the air. Like I mentioned, we're still seeing that ozone action day, and we're still in the height of ragweed and fall elm season. But like I mentioned, it's an ozone action day, so we have multiple things in the air. I'll break down what's causing it coming up after the break. Well, today there's multiple things in the air. Like I mentioned, we have ragweed, molds are still normal and they're all year round, but today's an ozone action day. Now we do have those air quality alerts issued for all across South Central Texas, including Bexar County for San Antonio, all the way up to Bastrop near Austin. And that's because we do have that chance of seeing that elevated levels, I should say, of the ozone being possible in San Antonio. And with that, it does mostly have an issue and cause an issue for folks who do have some respiratory illnesses. They might want to use caution, but not only that, it is having that chance to continue to be unhealthy for some throughout the day to day. But there is some good news. By the time we go into Friday and even Saturday and Sunday, we are expecting the air quality to improve over the next few days. But we're still going to be sitting under that area of high pressure, and we're still going to be seeing that dry air. So we do have that water vapor satellite imagery here. And basically what this shows you is all that orange color. That is that dry air that is just sitting in areas of the atmosphere. Now this, not only do we have the dry air in San Antonio all the way down to Brownsville, El Paso, we're also seeing that dry air in New Orleans, Atlanta, even on the East Coast. But there is some good news. We're starting to see some moisture return in the Pacific Northwest, and that's on the northern end of this high pressure system. And there's also a weak low pressure system forming in the Pacific Northwest. That could bring some chances of a weather maker that wouldn't necessarily impact San Antonio straight on, but it could have some other implications. Now that heat high sitting in areas of Mexico is the main weather maker for us. That's what normally gives us the triple digit temperatures we're used to seeing in August and July. But we also have another high pressure system sitting in areas near Chicago, near the Great Lakes, and even a low pressure system sitting near the panhandle of Florida. And that's what's been causing some heavy rainfall for the Florida coast. They've had multiple days of rain over there. But for us, as that heat high finally leaves, that's when we start to see some moisture return to the forecast. We're still going to be pleasant today, tomorrow, Saturday, and then we're starting to see some moisture return to the forecast and even a chance of rain. Although we do have a chance of rain tomorrow, it is going to be fairly light, similar to what we are expecting on Monday, only a 10% chance, but rain is rain. We still need any rain. In fact, it's Thursday, so it's the latest drought monitor, and not much of a change for us in San Antonio and Medina County. There was a little bit of a change as you go just to the east with that severe that continued to expand for portions of LaGrange, but otherwise the 7-day forecast, only a 10% chance of rain tomorrow and Monday, and otherwise pretty much copy paste for the weather for the next 7 days, guys.
Thank you, Shelby. We'll take that 10%. Well, a new hub coming to the South Side, how it could help empower local entrepreneurs. Well, the Rendon Entrepreneurial Center, or REC, is about to open on the South Side.
It's a new hub at South Cross and Quintana Roads where local entrepreneurs who need help starting their businesses can get the help they need.
Our Patty Santos spoke with the owner about his vision for the center and why the location is lucrative to his mission.
The cost to entry is just so expensive for small businesses to join or start a company, so they end up not doing it.
Southsider Jesus Rendon and his family bought this old post office building about a year ago.
We now have electricity. We're no longer running on generators. So that's a big deal.
As you can see, the inside still needs some work, but the outside of the Rendon Entrepreneurial Center is already fulfilling its mission of connecting business owners with the community. Every last Friday, vendors, artists, and musicians rent out a space.
So this area is about roughly 5,000 square feet.
By November, the inside will be ready too.
This whole area here are in the front are all offices.
Offices in a space where South San Antonio area neighbors who have a business idea can get help registering it with the state, filling out paperwork for an LLC or nonprofit, cultivate a business plan, or even rent out a podcast room. Do you already have businesses that are interested in moving in?
We have 4 businesses that have verbally said they would move in once we're ready, once we have HVAC, once we have the functional needs for a facility.
The first business conference is scheduled for mid-November.
There's no entrepreneurial centers south of Highway 90.
Rendon says a survey by the nonprofit Southside First, which promotes economic development, shows there's a thirst for this kind of investment in his community.
Ultimately, it takes a community to have these things happen. Have a good one, brother.
Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
Well, it is October, and that means rolling out the pumpkins, ghosts, and goblins. But the most frightful thing about Halloween this year, maybe just how much you have to pay to participate. How shoppers may feel on the impact of tariffs and inflation.
Well, the Eagle Pass Casino, where 2 people were shot and killed this weekend, will reopen tomorrow. The Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino announced it on Facebook, writing in part, quote, "As we reopen, we are committed to supporting our team, our guests, and are grateful for the strength of our community. We look forward to seeing everyone," end quote. Now, the suspect is charged with capital murder and assault with a deadly weapon.
Now to a horrific case of child abuse. This morning, the 2 people you see on your screen, Christina and Jonathan Miranda, are facing capital murder charges for the death of their 10-year-old adopted son. This investigation dates back to September 24th, when San Antonio police responded to a Northeast Side home. Inside, they discovered a child who had died. Investigators say the boy showed signs of long-term abuse and trauma, believed to have happened over the past year. And that's when they uncovered additional disturbing evidence.
The investigation continued. They also received video surveillance of the abuse to the child. There was enough evidence to charge the 2 suspects with capital murder.
Investigators say the couple adopted the child, but police say they were still biologically related. There were also other children in their home, and police are speaking with them to see if there are any other signs of abuse.
New details have emerged in the Robb Elementary School shooting. The Uvalde CISD just released a fresh set of documents, including 2 videos. One capturing the gunman's entry and attack, and another showing officers' body camera footage. Also included are records from the termination hearing for then Police Chief Pete Arredondo, and details about the principal who left after the shooting but has since been reinstated. Arredondo is currently awaiting trial on 10 counts of endangering a child. Well, it is day 2 of the government shutdown. And the Trump administration is now warning federal workers could face permanent job cuts. Well, previous shutdowns have typically led to temporary furloughs. The White House has also frozen $26 billion in funding for several states, which is a move critics say targets Democratic priorities. Now, Democrats are pushing to extend expanded health care subsidies set to expire at the end of the year. Also, the $1 trillion of taxpayer money they're asking for would cover health care for people who are in the country illegally. Here at home, San Antonio city leaders say the impact here should be minimal for now.
So the short-term impact is nothing to us, but if we go past 2-3 months, we'll start to see some impacts.
Once the shutdown is over, the impacted federal workers should get back pay. But in the meantime, there is help. Scan the QR code on your screen. That will direct you to a list of resources to help you if you are a federal worker. We already spoke with the food bank, which says it is ready to help. USAA offering no interest loans to the affected members. And the sheriff's office says it is fast-tracking hiring. Well, now to a health alert. The Bexar County Public Health Department has confirmed a fox tested positive for rabies. County health officials said a homeowner saw the fox behaving abnormally on their North Bexar County property. It happened in a property just southeast of Bulverde, the same area where the county reported a rabies outbreak back in July, mostly with bats. The body of the fox tested positive for rabies. The county health department says the fox did not interact with any other humans or pets. Rabies is most often transmitted by rabid animal bites, but can also be transmitted when a rabid animal's saliva touches a human or mammal's eyes, nose, mouth, or a break in the skin. Well, Bexar County Public Health Department Director Andrea Guerrero warns that pet owners to take precautions. Quote, wild animals such as foxes and raccoons can infect pets. It underscores the importance of ensuring that all dogs and cats are vaccinated against the rabies virus, end quote. And this week's rabies case is the 15th in Bexar County so far just this year. So here's how to protect yourself and your pets. Avoid contact with wildlife and unknown animals.
So people bitten, scratched, or exposed to a rabid animal should immediately wash the wound with soap and water and then talk to a doctor.
Report the location of the rabid animal to the health department.
And if you find a dead wild animal, there's no telling if it had rabies, so just simply report it to your area's animal control.
Very important stuff there. Outside with live cam, 87 degrees still. At least it hasn't risen yet.
True. I mean, Courtney, we've slowly seen the temperature risen, but otherwise 87 degrees already at 12:34. This is normal for us, or a new normal, I should say. Yes, our temperatures should be cooler in the 80s, but otherwise for us, seeing temperatures in the mornings in the 50s and 60s has also become a little bit of a new normal. 57 degrees this morning was the temperature in Junction and Kerrville, 55 in Ozona. In San Antonio, we got to about 66 degrees. But this is that normal fall-like temperature, that low humidity everyone wants and expects as we continue throughout the month of October. And throughout the rest of your afternoon, we're really not going to be feeling those fall conditions. We're going to get to about 93 degrees, still seeing that partly clear to those mostly clear, and even some partly cloudy skies later on right around sunset. But otherwise, it's all because of that area of high pressure, the two areas of high pressure. But for us in San Antonio, it's mostly because of this one still in Mexico, but they're all interacting and working with each other. And as this high pressure continues to just sit in South Texas, it's really going to allow that low humidity as we go throughout the weekend, seeing that mix of the sun and the clouds as we go from Saturday into Sunday and continue as we go throughout the weekend. But I know today is a big day. Not only is it Thursday, there's football starting for some folks, and it's a big day for the Swifties. I'll break down what you need to know if you're staying out tonight coming up in just a bit.
Shelby would.
Right? She knows.
Shelby
She
would.
knows. Well, this October also, as we enter spooky season, there's plenty to do around town.
That includes free events, so check it out. You can enjoy a party on the plaza, take in live music and more from 7 to 11 p.m. on October 3rd, which is tomorrow. It's at the Tower of the Americas. First Friday Flicks is back at the Rocket La Cantera. There will be a free movie screening of The Lorax. It starts at 7 tomorrow night.
And how about another free movie? So Outdoor Family Film Series returns to the Mission Marquee Plaza. So catch a free movie screening of The Wild Robot. So that is happening from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. this Saturday, October 4th. And sticking with Mission Marquee Plaza, there's also a farmers market there happening Saturday. So the Farmers and Artisans Market is happening from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on October 4th.
And if you're looking for something a bit more spooky, Steph,
Yeah.
Boo at the Zoo is back. Zoo guests will be able to enjoy free trick-or-treating, live entertainment, interactive animal encounters, fall-flavored food and drinks, and more.
Always a lot of fun. So Zoo Boo is included with the standard zoo admission. No extra ticket is required. The spooky festivities will last until Halloween, October 31st.
And that just covers events happening over the next few days. We have a list of events happening all month long. That's in the Halloween section of KSAT.com right now.
And we also have a roundup of haunted houses, plus where you can catch interactive Rocky Horror Picture Show screenings this month.
And even though Halloween is weeks away, some people definitely started shopping early.
Yeah, the National Retail Federation says that's because some people are worried that items will cost more, so they're spreading out their purchases. President Donald Trump implemented tariffs on a variety of imported goods to encourage companies to make products in the U.S.
According to the Alliance for the American Manufacturing, virtually all Halloween costumes on the market right now are imported, which means they'll be subject to tariffs. But Cullen says tariffs have affected certain goods differently.
Many of those costs haven't yet been passed on to consumers. It is impacting certain goods differently. We may be seeing it a little bit more in non-durable goods.
Candy and sweets prices are also up from a year ago, according to the latest Consumer Price Index.
But there is some good news. The average price of one Halloween staple is dropping.
Pumpkin prices are down 11%, which is a big drop from 2024. And that's according to a new report from the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Well, an extra large one is now going for $5.99 compared to $8.53 last year.
Well, this year we saw excellent crops, bumper crops really for pumpkins in a lot of the country. And because we've seen such a growth in the supply of pumpkins and a constraint on when we can sell those pumpkins, farmers across the country are looking for ways to cut down the price to be able to move those pumpkins a little bit quicker.
And if you're looking for more savings this Halloween season, you can try shopping at discount stores, reusing those decorations, and getting crafty with costumes and decor.
An annual dinner is held as a pop-up event, how it brings together people from countries all over the world.
Well, it is an event that's taking place in cities across the world. Everyone wears all white and brings their own tables, their chairs, and picnic food.
The location is kept a secret until the last moment, with volunteers leading guests to the destination. Millions are on the wait list, hoping to get an invitation to the coveted event that focuses on fashion, food, and fun.
ABC's Rena Roy tells us what the experience is like after attending the New York City event.
Welcome to Dîner en Blanc, New York.
With thousands dressed in white from head to toe, there's no shortage of elegance and style at Les Dîners en Blanc, an annual pop-up considered the world's largest dinner party.
Look at this. We can dance, we can cheer, we can eat, we can toast.
Like the dress code, the guest list is tight, the wait list to attend is long, and the location top secret until just before the event. And that is when the schlep begins.
So when did you guys find out where this was going to be?
Well, a couple of hours ago, they said that we should go to Grand Central Station, and then from there we took subways.
Picnickers bringing their own tables, chairs, and food from near and far to enjoy dinner al fresco.
I had to shepherd these 50 people through the subway at rush hour with all that stuff to get them here tonight.
And New York City rush hour is not for the faint-hearted.
No joke.
This year in New York, it happened near the southern tip of Manhattan with the gorgeous sunset along the Hudson River and the Statue of Liberty as a backdrop.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
No, it's very unique, very wonderful.
And this is not your average picnic. We are talking extravagant setups, gourmet, multi-course meals. We've seen everything from lobster to foie gras and towers of food here. People spend weeks, if not months, preparing for tonight.
Oh my gosh, months and months and months. And I love to host and bring people year over year over year.
The first ever Dîner en Blanc dates back to 1988 in none other than Paris, the City of Lights. In 2011, making its U.S. debut in New York City, quickly expanding to more than 40 countries with 2 million fans on lists around the world, hoping to experience this unique culinary delight.
How they live their local culture and community and connect with friends changes from city to city, but the commonality is everybody loves to gather and everybody loves to eat together and everybody loves to like just dress up and come out and have a great night al fresco, and this is it.
What do you hope people take away after experiencing tonight?
A moment to just, you know, look around and be inspired by everybody else around them.
It's like how heaven should be. Everybody loves everybody. They share their glasses with everybody else. If you run out of champagne, somebody has some. It is how the world should be.
Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Love that. He was like,
That
this is how
so
heaven should be.
So special,
so
except
sweet.
the red wine.
Oh, yeah.
We were just saying, that's
Good
dangerous.
point.
They're brave.
Yeah.
They're brave in all white.
It would be so fun. The outfits were gorgeous, but I want to know, are you ready for it? Tonight in San Antonio, some of the stores are staying open, and there is going to be a slight autumn chill in the air tonight because of some cooler temperatures tomorrow morning. Not feeling very fall-like, but more, or not feeling summer-like, but more fall-like with temperatures in the 70s. Some folks are waking up in the 60s. Might even be a little chilly tonight if you're going to Target to see and get The Life of a Showgirl by Taylor Swift. But there's some rain tomorrow morning. You might need to know what the forecast is, and I'll tell you what the rain chances coming up after the break.
Well, I saw on the forecast earlier only a 10% little chance, so that just might mean cloud cover for the most part, right? Like not rain.
I mean, it's San Antonio, so we're right next to the Gulf, and normally anytime there is that 10% chance of some showers, it's going to be the sea breeze showers, if there's any that makes it to San Antonio, but that's tomorrow. Today is going to be a beautiful day for most of us. Temperatures getting to about 93 degrees in San Antonio, seeing that low humidity and those mostly clear skies for the greater portion of the afternoon. And even then, as we take a look at the satellite imagery, most of the cloud coverage is actually still near the coast. We're seeing a lot of those cumulus clouds. Starting to see a few of the cirrus level clouds trying to make their way to San Antonio, but really most of the clouds are still to the east and to the south, and even starting to see a few already pop up in Junction and Kerrville. But like I mentioned earlier, we're still in that drought. This is the latest drought monitor that was released today. Not much of a difference, as you see, for Bexar County, Medina County, even getting to Atascosa, even in the hill country, they're still sitting not even dry. But there was a small difference as you go to the east along that I-10 corridor, even up towards LaGrange and Bastrop. That wasn't in that severe category last week. They were just in that moderate category. So that continued to expand. But really, that's the main issue, because we haven't seen, if any, rain over the last week. But here's something that we're watching. Like I mentioned earlier, as we go throughout this evening into tomorrow morning, we could see tomorrow morning really still seeing that cloud coverage, but around lunchtime, a few showers near the coastal plains could make their way to San Antonio, but those are going to be the normal sea breeze showers and storms that we normally expect. A few of them might make it to our easterly counties, which is why it's still going to be a 10% chance. It's going to be very quick, very brief, quick little showers. Not everyone's going to even see the rain, and it's mostly already gone by about 7 p.m. tomorrow. Now here's a look at the rainfall totals over the next 7 days, because like I mentioned, not only do we have the chance tomorrow, there's also another small chance of rain on Monday. And where you see those blue colors in areas of San Antonio, that's saying some areas could see up to a 1/10 or even a 1/4 of an inch, but that's going to be the most we have the most rainfall totals we have the chance of getting. Most of the rain is going to be near the coastal plains, like I mentioned, still sitting dry for northeastern portion of Texas into Arkansas, northern Louisiana. But Florida is still seeing heavy amounts of rain, as that low pressure is still going to sit in areas of the Gulf, but it try to make its way to this side, and that also is going to give us that reason and that little bit of chance of some rain on Sunday night, but really Monday. But that high pressure is really going to dominate over it, allowing for some warmer and some cooler weather as we head into next week. Not necessarily cooler, but that's when we start to see that humidity still going to be cooler than what we've been seeing, with our temperatures waking up in the 60s and 70s. But really, the main focus I want to talk about is slight rain chance of tomorrow and Monday, but really copy paste weather forecast with cloud coverage change, that small chance of rain, and that increase of humidity as we go into Sunday and Monday, guys.
All right, just a little bit of humidity there, Shelby. Thank you. A slew of new movies heading to theaters this month, becoming attractions you can expect in the coming weeks.
All right, what do Taylor Swift, Back to the Future, and James Cameron's Avatar have in common?
Well, as CNN's Rick Damagella reports, they are all heading to movie theaters in October.
Hey, it's Taylor.
October is turning into another crowded month at movie theaters. October 3rd sees Taylor Swift taking over big screens with the official release party for her new album, The Life of a Showgirl. Also hitting theaters that day are the re-release of Avatar: The Way of Water and Dwayne Johnson in The Smashing Machine.
It's in glorious Technicolor.
There are 16 wide and limited release movies hitting theaters on the 10th. Among them are Kiss of the Spider-Woman, Roofman, and Tron Ares.
Breach detected. Lockdown initiated.
The 17th sees The Astronaut landing in cinemas, along with Black Phone 2 and Good Fortune. The 24th sees The Boss getting the biopic treatment in Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere, debuting alongside the comedy Blue Moon.
I'm from the future. I came here in a time machine you invented. Lights, go up!
And arguably the biggest movie heading to theaters on Halloween isn't a horror flick, but the 40th anniversary re-release of Back to the Future. In Hollywood, and wondering why they didn't just release it on the 26th to coincide with the dates inputted on the DeLorean time machine, I'm Rick Damigella.
Temperatures today in South Central Texas, having our peak temperatures in the low 90s to even the mid 90s, 91 degrees as you get into Leakey, 95 Uvalde, 95 as you go into areas of Floresville, and more of the same is expected. Temperatures staying in those mid to low 90s for most of us. Only change really you can expect is a little bit of that humidity returning to the forecast for some tomorrow, but otherwise for everyone else on Monday, as we still have that 10% chance of rain for San Antonio and near the coastal plains.
Okay, well, hopefully that'll work out. Otherwise, we'll just keep our fingers crossed, for more rain, maybe the following week.
Always.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Have a great day.